for these two, I could do that. Anybody oppose the agenda or need statement? Okay, I'll assume that it's been approved. The minutes. Hopefully you had a chance to look over the minutes, and if you'd like me to share them in the Zoom, I can do that, but I emailed them out to you multiple times. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
A motion to accept, although I have a change I want to make.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Eric, you want to mention the change?
It's just on the very top of the minutes, it said special meeting of the faculty org. I think that might have been left over from the special meeting we had before that, but the May meeting was a regular meeting.
You're correct. Thank you. Is there any other corrections to the minutes? Okay. I'll assume that everybody's in favor unless I hear otherwise. Okay. Can you see in front of you now the list of the current senators? Is that there or no?
No.
Okay, let me switch over.
Still the agenda.
Okay, good. I'm gonna go from that to this. I want to share the current as part of our announcements. These are the senators for 2021-2022 school year. And for those of you who are new to Henry Ford College and the faculty organization, we have a fairly strong system of shared governance where we have representatives that we elect on a regular basis. These are those that are elected for this academic year and their terms expiring in the year in the parentheses after. So depending on the area of the college that you are in, these will be your representatives. So if you ever need anything, these are excellent individuals to reach out to. You can always reach out to me as the faculty senate chair for this year. And it's important that we have regular communications with our senators because they're kind of an important tool to all the various aspects of shared governance. We have numerous committees on campus. Many of them are walk-on committees. So even if you're new and haven't been elected, we're always looking for people to participate in shared governance. So I'm going to stop my share of that. And you can always reach out to me, adperry1@hfcc.edu, or give me a call and we can talk if you have any issues that we need to talk about. Going back to our agenda, we're basically now going to go into reports from the various committees, and we're going to start with Eric Rader and Rosemary McKetta from CTEI. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to ask them to take over.
Okay, can people see the screen?
Yes, Eric.
Hi, Rosemary. I'm trying to get it up here sorry.
It's a slideshow, that's it.
There we go. Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, welcome. Rosemary and I are the co-directors of the CTEI, which is the Center for Teaching Excellence and Innovation, and we just have a brief presentation about what we do. And so I've been in my role as co-director for a year, and Rosemary just is starting for this fall. So I'm glad to have Rosemary. Rosemary?
Yay! So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rosemary McKetta, work in the ELI. Super excited to be the co-director with Eric this semester.
So we're going to just kind of take turns, I guess, here. So this gives you an overview of the CTEI Hub. That's kind of the name we've given ourselves for kind of what we do. We have an online presence right now. eventually a physical presence again, but at the moment it's all online. So our goal, our purpose as a center is to promote and support teaching and learning in the classroom to improve student success. That's our goal as an institution, obviously. And so we have created this hub, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can access some of this stuff online. I don't know if Rosemary would want to say more about this.
All good.
Okay, so here's information about us. I teach in political science, full-time instructor in political science.
And I'm a full-time instructor in the English Language Institute.
And I think we want to acknowledge our predecessors, Pamela Stewart and Jeff Morford. I had the opportunity to kind of work with both of them last year. We've had some transition in these roles, but thank you so much to Pam and Jeff for all the work they did to set us up for success. I think as a center, we've continued some of the things they've done. We've got some CTI directors here at the college. I'm Betsy Cohn, who was the CTI director when I started, and we are still using a lot of things that she developed 15 or 20 years ago. So that we're building upon the success of our predecessors in these roles. So thank you, especially to Pam and Jeff. So one of the things that we do in the CTI is a new faculty training called HFC 101, used to be HFCC 101, and we dropped our community and now we're HFC 101. And the first session for that is on September 17th at 2:10 on Zoom. This is for new full-time faculty here at the college. And we have 6 sessions, 3 in the fall, 3 in the winter, where we'll be looking at pedagogy. We'll be looking at the students we serve. We're going to look at the community we serve. We look at the institution. Shared governance is a focus. A number of things that we'll talk about over the next really the fall and the winter semester. So I did send an email out to all of the new hires, people who were hired within the last for the fall semester. If you did not get that email, let me know. My email is just look for Eric Rader in the system, ewrader@hfcc.edu, and we'll make sure we add you to the list. Hopefully we have about 20, I believe 20 new faculty that we emailed, but if you've started at any point in the last year or even 2 years and have not been part of HFC 101, we'd like to have you involved with that. So just email us and we can make sure you're on the list.
So we have also created a new course shell to house all of the information that we will be sharing in HFC 101. I have now physically enrolled all of our new faculty members. If someone is off the list or if I've missed someone, could you please let me know as soon as possible so you can start looking in your new course shell.
And I'm particularly grateful to Rosemary for doing this because this is not my expertise, and she's created this beautiful site, not just this site, but also when we get to a little bit later here, than the CTI happenings. So she's done a lot of work on these sites. So I give all the credit to her on that. So. This is a list of our fall activities that we've planned so far. There will be more added. The Monday morning mentor series, that's actually an external event that you can register for. We've been including that information in the weekly digest. So if you have any questions, check out the most recent digest. I think there's a link to that. The first in-house CTI event of the fall will be how to use early alerts with Kat Tucker and Lorraine Paffenroth. Again, that's September 3rd at 2 p.m. on Zoom. And I did include a link to it in the digest that went out the other day. We'll send another digest out next Monday. So if you didn't get the link, we'll send it out again. But I think that'll be particularly useful to people as we get into the new semester. Early alert is the system, if you're new here, where we can flag students who are really struggling and try to deal with problems early rather than waiting late in the semester. And it's an online system. It's a great tool. Many of us have used it. And so Kat and Lorraine will talk more about how they use it, how we could use it, kind of the, and how it could benefit our students. And then Teamwork Tuesdays is something that Jeff Morford kind of started last year, and we're going to continue that. Where on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 7, oh, I guess we have 7 on there, at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a Teamwork Tuesday where it's meant to be a little bit more informal, although we're going to have some focused sessions with a chance, particularly for those of you who are maybe teaching at different times, a chance to kind of get together and talk about what's going on as we deal with COVID, but we are going to have kind of a focus with each of those Teamwork Tuesdays. But it was a very popular way in the winter for people to kind of connect with each other on Tuesday evenings. We did not have tacos, but if you want to make your own tacos at home, that's fine. And then HFC 101, we talked about how sabbaticals work. Ryan Schaller in philosophy took a sabbatical recently, and he's going to talk about the process. It's more focused on how you can use a sabbatical as a full-time faculty member to kind of present, do research, and then sabbaticals are meant to benefit you professionally, but also the institution. So he'll talk about that process more. And then the last planned event, but we have lots of other things that we'll be adding to the calendar, is it's a workshop on the focused ILO for the year. ILOs are institutional learning outcomes. And you'll probably hear more about that in the CASEL presentation. Ruth Howler, who's one of the co-chairs of CASEL, will talk about, or will be facilitating a workshop about the focus of critical thinking and information literacy, which is our focus this year. And that you'll hear more about that as the fall goes on, but we have a workshop on October 22nd. I don't know, Rosemary, would you want to talk about the book club?
Yes, so Eric and I, during our summer break, attended the Professional Teachers Conference, and one of the preliminary speakers, Sean Michael Morris, with Jess Strommel, was actually really, really impressive in terms of discussing how during, especially during the pandemic, how it's important that we still have an open dialogue about critical digital pedagogy. So I went out and bought this book, and it's really interesting in terms that it's a collection of essays that they actually did pre and post pandemic. And it really opens up some great discussion points about what we would need to do as we move forward with our teaching, especially if we're keeping a hybrid modality or going back on campus. So very interesting, easy to read, and we're thinking of using this as a potential book club for our upcoming sessions, which I think will begin in late September or early October. We still have to put a doodle form out to see when is the best time to run this. So that will be our book. We still have to figure out the logistics of how we get the books out to you, but I'm thinking it might be just easier for those who want to join the book club to purchase it on Amazon, and then somehow we'll get that reimbursement back to you.
And we'll send an email out within the next week to kind of see what interest there is, and then figure out schedules where we can do it. So
yeah,
I'll let Rosemary talk about this too, because she's the one who's really redeveloped our CTEI happenings page, and she can talk about the QR code.
Okay, so I've taken over the work of Jeff's blog called CTEI Happenings, and I did notice that we have very poor followership. So this is our little goal today. We're all familiar with these QR scanners because we've been doing them in restaurants and other establishments that want you to have access to information that's purely contactless. So what I was thinking would be fun is that how about we all aim our smartphones to the code to open our CTEI blog. And for those who follow us, there's going to be a little gift of an HFC swag in your mailbox once we're all back on campus. We would like to push this blog simply because I'll be able to tweet, feed, and give you instant information of when events will be happening with CTEI. And this seems to be one of the best ways that we can get that sort of almost instant gratification. You'll know when events are happening because these feeds will be popping up on your computers. So it's super simple, folks. All you have to do is just get your phone, point the camera at the QR code, and then should pop up the blog. So, and if you follow us, you must follow us. This is the trick here. Then you'll be able to you'll collect some swag in the process. Did it work, Colleen? Woohoo! Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So just a little fun activity. We might leave it up a little bit longer. Maybe I can post it in the chat for those of you who don't get the chance to do it now.
It looks like some people are aiming their cameras at their phones at the camera or whatever. So and the one thing I am able to do is create QR codes. I did discover how to do that. So I'm having fun with that. I'm probably getting a little overboard with it, but at any rate. One thing, somebody did alert me to the fact that when we sent out the digest the other day, this was my fault. I did not include under the QR code for the CTEI happenings, I did not include the URL, and I think that would probably be helpful as an accessibility issue. So I will make sure to do that in the future. So you'll have the QR and the URL when it's an electronic link going out. So my apologies for that.
Rosemary, how do you follow?
On the top corner of the blog, you'll see, do you want to follow? And you just press on that little click. Can you see it or you can't see it?
It's actually on the very bottom. That's where I found it. I just scroll all the way to the bottom.
Okay, as the administrator, it's on the top of my screen. So at the bottom of the screen, if you can follow, and I'm looking for 100 hits. I'm looking for 100. Can we get there? Oh, woo! I so far have, it looks like I have 45. So I'm still waiting on 55 of us. Yes, it will ask for your HFC email. Hibo, you've just asked that question. And I think I may have missed a ton of other questions. Sorry, folks, I should have been following this. Sophia, you can't find the follow or you can't find the blog?
I can't find the blog. I have it. It says CTEI happenings, but I can't
Yeah, so apparently on your screen, it will be at the bottom for you to follow. So if you scroll down to the bottom and it says, would you like to follow? It should pop up at the bottom right. Thanks, Chelsea, because I'm in the actual editing mode, so I won't be able to see your perspective. Okay, I think we're nearly there. How many followers have we got? We're nearly there. Okay, I'll report back by the end of this session. I'm sure Tony's got a lot of things that we've got to get covered here. Thank you, folks.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Rosemary and Eric. Appreciate it. Next up is the ITC report from Allison Buchanan. So, Allison.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Al.
Good morning, Al.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to share. I have a Word document for you to share. So, okay, let me try this again. And to be honest, I don't have anything new to report, but I do have some updates. All right, well, I cannot find my document to share. However, I will send it out via email after the meeting if that works for everybody. So, I have 7 points to make. And the first point is to please remember to send a welcome letter or a welcome email to your students. I know classes start Thursday, but we have more that start later in the semester. So any communication you can make with your students prior to the semester starting is awesome. And my second point is that I just want to make sure that you guys open your courses for students to see in HFC online, make them visible, make sure to import your content, Vicki Bissett sent us a reminder message yesterday. So make sure you do that for your students. My third point has to do with PSI, and that is the online proctoring service that we purchased vouchers for a couple of semesters ago. I think we still have some. And that would be Christina Bailey in Academic Services. And my fourth point then has to do with Safe Exam Browser. That is a lockdown browser within HFC Online. So that's been around as well. Just wanted to remind you about it. My fifth point is super exciting and deals with the College 102 course that's been in the works for a while. Also, it is known as the HFC Online Preparation course. And this is the course that we have been working on to help students get ready to take online courses. And I've mentioned it at several faculty organization meetings. It is done. Not only is it done, it's fully automated, which is the first of its kind at the college. And the committee has handed off this course to Dr. Nealon and to the other folks at the college who are going to help get it implemented. So I want to say thank you to Vicki Bissett and Sarah Castillo and to Rosemary Makita and to Christina Bailey and Dr. Nealon for helping us get it going. So that is exciting. My sixth point is about Grammarly Premium. I have mentioned it before. So I wanted to give you an update. The college has purchased a license for 500 users. Each student and each instructor will be counted as a user. So I don't have much more to say about it at this point, but I will be sending an email out to everyone to learn about your interest in using it. And then the seventh point I just wanted to make was to remind you about the CTEI mentoring course within Moodle. It's been there for a while and it has a ton of awesome resources for instructors. So just don't forget that it is out there. And thank you for CTEI and thank you for everybody listening and have a great semester.
Allison, thank you. I appreciate it. Before I go to call Chelsea to do the Writing Center, let me remind 1650 members that briefly after this meeting, 1650 will have a brief meeting afterwards. So just want to make that announcement really quickly. So Chelsea, the floor is yours to talk about the Writing Center.
Awesome. Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Hooray! All right. And then I gotta move the pictures of everybody so that I can see my own screen here. Okay. So the Writing Center, I sent an email out yesterday. We are open this fall online, much like the winter semester. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to run like a pop-up Writing Center 1 or 2 days a week on campus somewhere where I can find a table. And once I have that sorted out, we will be, again, fingers crossed, hopefully able to offer a little bit of in-person support, but because the library is fully online, we don't have access to our regular space. So we'll continue with asynchronous and synchronous appointments this fall. And those seem to be working really well. We've had a lot of feedback from students about that service. And I am excited to share with you our summer project, which was some assessment. So our summer was actually pretty quiet. We didn't see a lot of students in the Writing Center. However, I had a few respondents working, and we put together a big assessment project by using the data that WC Online gives us access to, and by partnering with our institutional research team. So we found out that right now, students who use the Writing Center, this is primarily based on fall 2020 data and a little bit of winter 2020. Students who use the Writing Center are more likely to be female, slightly more likely to be non-white, are probably between the ages of 17 to 20 and likely to reside in the Dearborn and Detroit area. They're more likely to be full-time, and they're more likely to earn at least a 3.0 GPA. That was interesting because we don't know if it's students who choose to use the Writing Center were already likely to have higher grades, or if using the Writing Center causes them to have higher grades, but in either case, this is a positive thing. Student self-reported majors included undecided or unknown, business, pre-engineering, pre-nursing, social work, general studies, and exercise and sports science. We had several classes where a significant number of students used the Writing Center, and in those classes, students who used the Writing Center earned higher grades. Again, we don't know if this is causation, correlation, but still a positive that students who are using the Writing Center are earning higher grades. There are fewer failing grades reported for these courses and these students as well. We did a deep dive into our appointment forms to look at what kinds of support students were asking for when they used the Writing Center. And so we went through and we read every single, there's a open answer part on the appointment form that asks students to let us know what they want to work on. So it says, tell us your name, a little bit about yourself as a writer, and what kind of help you're seeking. There's also options to check boxes, like I want help understanding my assignment, I want help with formatting and citations, but we give this, we leave this text box on there so that they can elaborate a little bit more. And that's given us a lot of insight. So we've found that students primarily ask for 3 types of support. It's task-based, so like I need to cite this source in MLA. It's like you can close the loop pretty easily in a session. It might be, I need help making sure my thesis statement is solid, or I'm concerned about grammar. English isn't my first language. Does this make sense? Or how do I format this in APA? So again, things that can be kind of addressed within a single session, then that loop is closed. We also see a lot of students asking for support with academic writing, and they're talking about the writing process. So they might describe where they're at in the writing process. I'm just getting started, I'm feeling stuck, I have a final draft. And they seem to have a grasp on basic rhetorical concepts. So they'll mention things like, I want to make sure that this is clear for my audience. This is the audience that I'm imagining. This is the purpose I'm seeking here. Am I accomplishing that purpose? Or I've never done an annotated bibliography before. Should I be including these? We also see a lot of requests for, or a lot of talk about the emotional and affective part of the writing experience. So sometimes students will express feeling anxious. A lot of times they want to know if it's good. Is this good? Is it good enough? And we see a lot of comments about concerns about like wanting to belong within an academic community. So sometimes students will share, I've been out of school for a while, or I'm a high school student and I want to sound like a college writer. And so they're kind of seeking reassurance that way. We also saw some requests for reading support, which sometimes were direct, like I need help with reading strategies, but more often it comes up kind of, it's sort of implied, like in reference to writing. So if someone wants help understanding their assignment, they may need help reading that assignment sheet, or they may need guidance toward what they need to read in order to do the assignment. And I think that's probably the most common. Sometimes we need to talk about like, what have you read? How can you use that material to incorporate it into the draft that you're working on? So this reading piece is really important, and we don't explicitly have reading support at this point, but we are going to begin working on that this fall. That becomes an additional need because Michigan Reconnect may eliminate standalone developmental reading courses, and so the Writing Center may be able to fill in there. We'll start by making sure that our Writing Center respondents have a sort of toolbox of reading support strategies that they can use with students. but this will be a much larger project moving forward to ensure that we have solid reading support available in the Writing Center. So what we learned from this assessment project is that certain student populations are underrepresented in our usage. So older students, we don't see as many older students. How can we better serve these students? How do we reach these students, especially with Michigan Reconnect and Futures for Frontliners? We're expecting to see more and more older students at Henry Ford. I mentioned this already. Based on the appointment form analysis, we should probably bring in some reading support as well as dedicated English language support. We need to update our appointment form to make data collection easier. So one thing we'll do is create a drop-down menu for course prefixes. Right now, students enter that themselves. And so English 131 can look like 45 different ways of saying that, which makes it kind of hard to collect data there. And then lastly, it seems like students understand that writing is a social rather than a solitary activity. So whether they grasped this before they used the Writing Center or the Writing Center maybe is helping them understand this, we did see that that was present in how they talk about themselves as writers and their writing, and that's definitely a good thing. Here's what we're wondering about now. We want to know how many Writing Center visits are ideal in terms of student success in a single semester, specifically for English courses. Students come a lot, so is there a magic number? Is it like 3 visits, and beyond that, the impact starts to kind of peter out? Or, you know, we would assume that like 25 visits might be a little excessive, but, you know, because we want to find that balance between getting support and recognizing that talking to an experienced writer is good, but also we want independence. So where's that kind of sweet spot? We want to look at what the most effective tutoring methods are for our unique student population. And that could be a balance between non-directive, so like hands-off kind of stuff, and more directive, here's how you do this kind of thing. And then we are also curious about how required visits would impact developmental students and maybe students in upper level ELI courses. So we think these students are likely to spend the longest time at the college, given that they're starting at kind of that base level. So if we're able to connect with them early on, they may be an ideal population to work with because they'll benefit from Writing Center support through the duration of their time at the college. So our plans for fall 2021, we are still online. We have updated our online sessions to use Zoom. Before we used the module that was built into WC Online. We've been able to integrate Zoom, which is a lot easier. The advisory board will still continue to meet. The faculty writing group will also meet monthly if that's something that you're interested in. The advisory board is walk-on. The faculty writing group is always welcoming new people. Send me an email and we'll get that sorted out. And then we'd like to continue offering our monthly coffee hours. That was a big success last year and we really enjoyed them. If you have ideas for topics to cover in those coffee hours, please send them our way. And I will send information out about September's shortly, and we'll connect that with CTEI as well. Special thanks to our institutional research team for the data breakdown, the Writing Center respondents for being awesome as always. I saw that Christy and Angel are here. I'm not sure if anybody else is here. And then thanks to all of you for believing in our mission that Mike Hill dreamed up and made happen. And for sharing your students with us so that we can all learn together. I think the last thing I'll say is that I sent that email out yesterday with information for fall, and then I said I attached a video, but I didn't attach the video. And then I realized I had 2 videos and one's newer from this summer. So I will send a new email with those videos actually attached so that if you would like to embed them in your Moodle shell or just link directly to the YouTube video, you'll be able to do that as well. Any questions? I'll try and catch up on chat messages now.
Thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate it. Everything
You're
you guys
welcome.
do there, it's great at the Writing Center. So next up is Chardon and the Learning Lab. Chardon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tony. I will share my screen. Did that work, or are you all seeing my screen or no?
Yes, we see it.
Yep.
The PowerPoint, okay. Okay, great, thank you. So good morning, everyone. Glad to be here with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Tony, to talk. Just gonna talk briefly about the Learning Lab, remind people that we are still here and we are, as always, wanting to partner with you to support your courses and support our students. Our website, please visit us. If you haven't, we've made some changes with the help of the web team. It's more streamlined, more user-friendly for students, and just something I'm very proud of. So take a look at what we have there. And as always, we're open to your comments, your suggestions, your feedback. Biggest service that we continue to provide is tutoring support, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the succeeding slides. But also, we provide one-on-one academic assistance. I noticed over the course of the pandemic and with us going virtual, a lot more students have, I guess, what they would call test anxiety. And a lot of that can be alleviated with like 1 or 2 conversations, and students, once they have a skill that they can put in their toolbox, or tools that they can put in their toolbox and that can help them actually feel effective, it changes things. So please, please send students to us if they are seemingly having some difficulty kind of acclimating. We want to help them as much as we can. Of course, test preparation and workshops, we continue to provide those to students in support of your courses online. Another thing that we were working on last semester, it didn't quite get off the ground, but I'm hoping that this year we'll be able to make this happen. It's just more student-led study groups. Students, probably many of you have seen this as well, are needing a space where they can communicate with each other about everything, but also about their academics and about the courses that they're in. And there's that saying about steel sharpening steel. So one of the things that we want to do with the Learning Lab is help to facilitate those student-led study groups so that they can work with each other and move their academics forward, and also provide that support and that comfort that they need as we continue to be in this pandemic. Our tutoring program, we are going to be online totally for fall 2021. We continue to offer appointment-based tutoring with HFC tutors, as well as drop-in tutoring with HFC tutors. And we have Net Tutor, which is available for many courses, 24/7, 365. And if not, there's a scheduled amount of, they're scheduled for certain courses. For in-person, and this is also kind of a reminder to my colleagues who are partnering with the Learning Lab, and you are a director or a lead for a career or technical education program, please let us know if you are going to want that this semester so that we can get everything together. Probably received an email from you, but this is just another gentle reminder. But for some of those courses, because the nature of the program requires students to have more hands-on, in those situations, we do have on-site within those labs tutoring. This is a screenshot of our website. You can see that there are a few accordion style menus that are there. And so again, please take a look at it, refer your students to us. And also if you need us to come, or if you would like us to come to your class and give a brief overview of our services, if you would like us to give a kind of a visitation, have a classroom visit, a virtual classroom visit, we're more than happy to provide that service. basically, students have these options for tutoring at HFC. We have 3 25-minute tutoring appointments each week. We have unlimited drop-in tutoring, and that's on a first come, first served basis. And we have 30 hours of net tutor that is allotted per semester. And again, all of these services are provided at no additional cost to students. It's already wrapped into their tuition and their fees. I have free here. I don't like to say free, but because sometimes I feel like that gives the wrong impression, but it's at no additional cost. It's already paid for, so there's nothing extra that they have to do. These are some of the courses that we're supporting via HFC tutors this semester. And this changes and it fluctuates depending upon who we're partnering with that semester, what availability we have, and instructors who have requested support. So we've tried to make that happen. And this is a slide that talks about the courses that are supported via NetTutor. So between the two, we try to cover a lot of bases. Of course, we're not necessarily able to cover everything, but if there's something, again, let me know, contact me so that we can have a conversation and see where we can go. For fall of 20, a couple of things that we noticed is that many of our sessions are occurring after hours. We've tried to expand more Saturday and evening hours, but a lot of that is covered by NetTutor, and that just lets us know that a lot of our students are studying and really getting into the meat of their academic preparation and their work after hours, when we're closed. And so it's really great that the college has invested in this to support our students. We also see that many times students are using NetTutor services for courses that we already have HFC tutors supporting. So it would be interesting to know more about what that means. We do know that these are some of the courses that traditionally students have had some difficulty in and just require the most support in. But we also see that not every course is being utilized by NetTutor, and so we need your help to get the word out that this support is available to students, so that way they know that there is some help available. For winter, these are similar findings, as you can see. The only thing that's really changed is the percentage, which is also very similar. These are some of the courses that we did not see any usage of NetTutor. And so again, if you have students in your courses who may be struggling, please let them know that we do have some support available to help them in most cases. And even if we don't have a specific tutor for a course, sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, just trying to help students understand their learning skills, the strategies that you can take to be successful can really open their eyes and kind of be that bridge that they need. So again, I mentioned workshops that we have traditionally offered. If you would like us to support you in that way, please let us know. We're more than happy to provide a specific workshop and tailor it to your course, tailor it to your students. Let's just have a conversation and see how we can partner, as well as the one-on-one help for students. I'm very happy to report working with Pam Stewart, the the chair of the World Languages Department. We're bringing back ESL Conversation Circles online, and that's slated to begin September 20th. This was something that we had while we were in the before times, when we were still face-to-face in person. And so this is to help our students who are second language learners of English just gain more comfort and more facility with English. So I'm really glad that we're bringing this back, and we'll be looking to see how students take to this. And again, this is one of those things that hopefully when we provide the support for students, they take to it and they find it useful and helpful. Again, reach out to us, let us know if you would like us to come to your courses, to talk to you, talk to your students, and how we can partner with you. By this point, I would have sent out an email, and that one is still in my draft, so I apologize. But before the day's end, I will send that, because I know many of you have already got your syllabus together and things like that, and I know you want that information. So please accept my apologies. You will receive an email from me about that today. And this will be included in that email. We have a plan to offer some support in person, but with everything changing on a daily basis, and again, with the Learning Lab, as many of you know, we share suite space with the Dearborn Public Schools Early College. And so we just want to make sure that if we go that route, everything is safe for the students, for our staff who are working in that space, in that environment. And so it's a changing process. We had a plan, and we're monitoring it to make sure that when we start and go down that road, we're able to do it safely and not have any problems or any hiccups. So, but we are here and we are virtual, and we will continue to offer as much as we can virtually. Oops.
Sheridan.
Thank you.
Sheridan, thank you. Any questions for Sheridan?
I just wanted to ask Jordan if there was a possibility of getting a video for the Learning Lab so that we can put it on our asynchronous classes and our HFC online.
We have a little, what is it called? We have a little Powtoon. So maybe we can share that with you and then you can use that. So I'll make sure I think we need to make sure that it's captioned. So we'll get that captioned and we'll get that out.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next up is...
I'm sorry, I raised up my hand. I didn't know you weren't looking. I raised up my hand. I have one question, please, for the learning, if you don't mind. Okay, I'm gonna lower my hand here. Previously, before the pandemic, I had a lot of students who used to send me a recommendation to teach or tutor, in the e-learning. I don't see that very much. Do we still have students being hired for tutoring, or they don't do this no longer because of the pandemic?
Yeah, there was, and thank you. That's a good question. I'm glad and I'm happy to address that. When we went virtual, what was it, last March, we stopped having, and I believe this was campus-wide, we didn't have any student workers at all. So it wasn't confined to just the Learning Lab. I believe that Career Services has indicated that, again, for this semester, for the fall 2021, there won't be any student employment, but they're working to get that ready. So that way, if we're still in a similar situation for winter, there will be a structure in place to allow students to work, even if we're virtual. Does that answer?
Yeah, it did, actually, thank you. But I have here, like, maybe I didn't hear you. So most of the tutoring, who are the full-time faculty? Because I see sometimes, like my students tell me, and I say there are math professors, but who does the tutoring now for mathematics, for instance?
We have tutoring done by full-time faculty who are making load, so they may not have the full number of credit hours that they need contractually, and so they will spend some of their time tutoring in the Learning Lab. We also have people who are adjuncts, current adjuncts at the college, so members of the AFO who may be hired to tutor. And then we have people who we have hired external from the college who do not hold any other roles or positions at the college except tutors and their professional tutors. So these people all have experience either teaching or tutoring or academic support experience, as well as, discipline specific knowledge and credentials to support the courses that they are tutors for. Does that help answer your question?
Sure. So really, one more question here about the tutoring, external. So there's companies you use tutoring. Is this how it works?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. Can you say that again?
I'm saying like, are you using like companies who tutor mathematics who are external, not related to the college? Is this how it's working now?
Both. We have tutors that are hired by HFC who are providing tutoring. We use Microsoft Teams. And so a student can get tutoring from an HFC employee who's a tutor. But we also, to supplement that, we also have contracted with NetTutor, which is a company that provides tutoring support. So we have both.
Oh. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chardon. Chardon, if you could put a link to the tutoring page in the chat. Someone was asking about that as well. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, I will do that.
Next up for the library is Tessa Betts. Tessa, you have the Zoom link.
Hi. Oh, goody. Let me share my screen. Hi, guys. Yes, Chardon, you're so charming. Thank you so much. Welcome to the library. So I promise I will be short and sweet, or as short and sweet as I can. If you have questions, feel free to shout them out. That's how I like to roll. So these are things you and your students should know. We got a new website. How do you get help? How do you use the online library resources? And when are you open for in-person? Our new website is going to look like this. I promise I'm going to go there in 2 seconds and show you how it actually works and where all the things you want now live. But I did want to point out 2 things. Thing number 1, where this yellow circle is, that's how you or your students get help. So this is the most effective way to get help. We've had a lot of students try calling the library. Do not call the library. No one is going to answer the phone. There is no one to answer the phone. They've also been calling the library and not leaving a voicemail. So we literally have no idea that you called 10 times because you did not leave a voicemail and there is no one to answer the phone. So instead of wasting your time and getting really frustrated, you should use the Ask a Librarian service. I promise someone will get back to you lickety-split. The other thing I really want people to know about our new website design is this big red circle, which is sort of the bane of my existence. So I know it says search Usherman Library, and it looks like that's where you should go to do your research. Nope. It is usually broken. It's broken more often than it works. It's great if you, well, it's not great. It works if you are a librarian and you've got mad information skills. So when it does break, you can figure out where to go. It would be useful if you were maybe an honors student working on that really big project that you're doing. You might need to use it. If you were a faculty member and you needed to do a lit review for a study that you were going to do, great, you could use that. But if you're just a regular student writing a 5-page research paper, this is not for you, okay? So if you're talking to your students, let them know this is not for them. Before I flip to the website, because that's the part you probably care the most about, I'm going to show you my last PowerPoint slide. This is going to be like, you'll get this email every time we change a reopening phase, and there might be like pamphlets on campus. So our plan at the library is we have 4 phases. Right now, everything is still virtual, like it's been for the past year. The building is closed. You're gonna contact the library, all of that stuff. Our phase 2, which I don't have the power. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but at some point we're gonna switch to phase 2, which is curbside service. So kind of like your public library probably did at one point in the pandemic. We're gonna do that. So if you need like some type of physical object and not just a virtual object, there'll be a way that you can get a hold of us and we'll get you that physical object. So that's going to be our curbside version. And then we're going to go from curbside into appointments. So there will be a way to set up your appointment. You have to be a current HFC student when we get to that phase. So we're not going to be letting the general public in at that phase. But we will, if you need to come in and print something, or you want to come talk to a librarian in person or whatever, we can do appointments. And then finally, phase 4 is just the new normal and the library is open for all the things again. So that's the phases. Again, I have no power over when those phases happen, but then every time you get changed to a phase, we will let you know. All right, so hey, sorry, my kid is now crying. So you are probably caring about the new library page. So this is the library's homepage. This is what it looks like now. If you have screenshots or something in your Moodle classroom or like in a document that you give students for an assignment, you might want to change that. The address, I know it looks like gobbledygook up here, but hfcc.edu/library will still work. Ask a librarian if you've never been to it. It looks like this. You can type in a question, and this is a chat. So like right now I'm on chat and so is Janelle. Hi, Janelle. And so you can chat with a librarian live and in person. You can also email in a question if you want to do that. If you're not a chatter, that's okay. We do have a text service, which you're going to text like your question on your phone. I have to answer in the system, so I can't like see any pictures or any screenshots or anything. So it's really good for quick, easy questions, not good for I'm trying to research this convoluted thing, but it is an option. There are some questions that are already answered. So if students have a question and we're kind of closed, there's entirely possible that how do I do library research? They can at least get started with one of these popular answers that have links and whatnot in them. Some of them have video. So that's how you get help. You're gonna use Ask a Librarian. Our website, again, this box, which I really don't recommend, just to prove to you I'm not making this up, I did a little search this morning, and I just did a search for nursing because I am the nursing librarian too. And I clicked on one of these, and then this happened. So we own this, but you can't get to it using the service. So students have been getting errors like this. It's usually EBSCO databases. And they're like, but I can't get in. And I'm like, you're right, you can't get in. So I'm glad you contacted me so I can get it for you. We do own it. It's just you can't get in. So that is just one reason why I'm not down with this Search Eshelman Library box. Because students they're not a librarian. They don't know how to use the back channels. Instead, here are things that you should send your students to. If you scroll down, you will see there's a little image with a little laptop and it says find. So all that stuff that you're used to using is probably under here in find. So there's the link to the research database page, which should look familiar. Every single database we have a subscription to is listed on this page, and these links work. Speaking of, you might want to double check all the links in your HFC shells just to make sure they work before you have students getting frustrated that they can't get into like Gale Virtual Reference Library or Opposing Viewpoints. So these links all work. If you need help with embedding them, just let one of us know, me or Janelle. So that's a way better place to get started with research, is right here under Find, Research Databases. Highly suggest you direct your students there. We also have this is sort of my baby. We also have Citation Help. So this is APA 7th edition, everything you ever wanted to know. There's a paper template. There's how do I do my in-text citations? What is my reference page supposed to look like? What if I want to cite something somebody else cited? All of your questions are answered on this page. This is also MLA. So if you're doing MLA, we've got MLA as well. But the other thing that you probably care about, research databases, citation help, ask a librarian, is this right here, which is the library research guides. So my giant picture. So we have a lot of different research guides. We've been working on making one for every class at HFC, but that's clearly a lot of them and we don't have the staff to have that done yet, so it's not. But if you have a class and yours isn't done yet, or if you have one of these for your class and you're like, oh, you need this information, or we don't teach that anymore, please let us know. So we do have things for class, but we also have sort of broad general things like maybe you're looking for information on countries and cultures. Maybe you're looking for career information, like you're having your students write a paper like what I want to be when I grow up. Careers is really useful for that. We do have, Janelle's been working on various faculty resource things like videos. We also have just sort of faculty resources in general. This is a new thing that I made for faculty resources on race, inclusion, and society. There's all kinds of different stuff in here. If you, like, here's the video collection. So if you are interested in anything, the LibGuides is a good place to get started. We even have one for the Writing Center. Hi, Chelsea. So if you need kind of any information, this is a good place to get started. The LibGuides, which are right here, sub-library research guides, or just ask a librarian. We would be delighted to help you find whatever it is you are looking for or answer your questions. So that's the library's new website. We are still offering the same services that we offered before. So as always, if you want to have library instruction, shoot me an email, we will schedule it. If you know, anything really, just shoot me an email and we will schedule it. I will send you guys an email with some information that you might want to have, and I will include that file of the when we're open, the different phases as well, in case you missed it. And I told you I'd be short, so I'm being short, and now I'm done talk. Oh, somebody asked a question about a barcode, which I would like to address. Two questions. Yes, so we can't have a universal barcode simply because the system that we use is really old, and we're concerned that if everyone's trying to use the same login with the same barcode, that it might overload the system and then we would have people get turned away. And that's the last thing we want to happen. So that's why we have this very laborious system where students contact the library and we give them a barcode. It is not ideal. No one loves it, but we definitely don't want any students getting turned away because that would be terrible. And somebody else had a question about, well, if the search box doesn't work, why is it on the front page? That is a great question, and I feel like I probably shouldn't spill a bunch of tea in public, but yes, we agree with that statement, and if enough people complain about it, maybe things will change. Okay, anybody else have a question you want to shout out?
Thank you, Tessa. I appreciate it. Doris Tony is going to talk about the Technology Improvement Fund. So, Doris, are you there? And if so,
I am here.
Screen's
I
yours.
am here. Can you hear me, Tony?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good. All right, then I am sharing my screen. So, and then I'll show my face momentarily. All right, let's see. Let me show my face. All right. It is now afternoon. Good afternoon, my colleagues. I'm here representing the Technology Investment Committee. And I want you to know, for those that are fairly new, that the purpose of our committee is to support projects that increase or encourage our students to utilize technology on campus in the classrooms. So today I want to give you an overview on how you can actually utilize the Technology Investment Committee's funding. I also want to show you some of the approved projects that we approved during the pandemic. And I want to show you the members of our committee. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, if you're interested in applying for funding through the Technology Investment Committee, the first thing you have to do is, after you've created an idea of what you want to do to support your students, you have to have a SPOL number. And that's a strategic planning number that your department or excuse me, your school actually has for you. So they will provide that. It has to be on the operational plan. Now you'll have all these great ideas, but if you haven't shared that and discussed it with your faculty chair or your associate dean or even your dean and talked about it collectively, and it's not on that operational plan, you will not meet that criteria. So you got to have that wonderful idea for technology for our students, but you have to have a SPOL number. If you have that, then you start the application. And so you prepare the application. This is a live link that will take you to the page where the application exists. But the application consists of, you provide information on what it is that you would like for us to fund, what kind of technology there is, how will it support our students. You provide all of the equipment, you lay it out, you provide a budget, you justify why we should consider your proposal. And then at that point, we submit it, we review it, we have you come in, and we have you present. Now, let me move on to the next one. The opportunity for submission for this semester will be September 24th. So mark your calendar, September 24th. But again, you must have the SPOL number and it needs to be on the operational plan. These are some of the projects that we approved during the pandemic. Some of them are in progress as it relates to for installation. Some are still in the bidding process, but we approved them at the Technology Investment Committee level. I want to start off with the classroom computer lab upgrade, and you'll see a number of classroom upgrades of computers. This was for K 142, 227. The amount is there, $89,000, and the project leads were Pam Stewart, Rosemary Makita, and Victoria Bassett. Moving on to the recording arts upgrade, $49,800. Project managers Kevin Dewey and Jeremy Palmer in our music department. Also in our music department, performance technology upgrade, $26,500. Again, project leaders Kevin Dewey and Jeremy Palmer. Then we move into the lecture capture technology improvements for social science. And many of us have lecture capture technology in some of our classrooms. And so Tony Perry came before us and requested that service. And so that was for $28,000. Also during the pandemic, we had a proposal. Now some of this is still in process, of course. A proposal that was approved by the TIC, Technology Investment Committee, approved for update of student computers in one of the J labs in the science building for $36,600. Project leaders Amy Pake and Charles Irish. Moving on again with another update of the physics laboratory equipment. led by Paul Root and James Smith for $87,800. Then moving on to the speech department, Vanita Parikh, my colleague, came before us and requested support for computer technology and media carts in the amount of $19,900. And then you notice that I put below that, we had a proposal. So you're looking at these proposals, and none of them are small by any measure, all to support student success. We had Steve Glazer come before us to upgrade everything in the Sisson Gallery, a technology upgrade, lighting up upgrade, and all that. That's going to benefit our students and others as well within the community. And that proposal was for $200,000. We did this during the pandemic. So I say to you that as you continue to work under these uncertain times, I'm sure students are still top of mind for you. And maybe you have determined there's some technology needs that you would like to see in the classroom or various places on campus to support our students. Then I would encourage you to prepare an application after you know that you have that SPOL number, and then discuss it with your faculty chair, your associate dean, and then apply for a technology grant. These are the members that serve on the Technology Investment Committee. Raid, everybody knows him. Chad Austin, Stacy Buchanan, Bob James, who has served as the chair for a number of years, and he has been just a tremendous support and help to me when I stepped in last year to chair this committee, and he continues to serve. Brian Johnson, Dr. Nealon, John Sikowski, our newest member, Jessica Schaumburger, Victoria Shepard, and Joe Zitney. These are the members who we meet a couple of times a year, review those applications, and then plan accordingly. And you come before us. If you are so fortunate to be able to come before us and present, then you come before this committee, and then we make the recommendation. The next step after we make the recommendation is that it goes forward to our finance and to our president, and they look at the proposals, and then they take them before the board of trustees. So I want to end with just a short story, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. So you're probably thinking, well, I do have some technology ideas, and that's great. So I'm going to share with you what happened in the speech department about 5 years ago. We were looking at data when we were doing our review and trying to determine how can we improve student performance with the speeches. And our students at that time had tremendous speech anxiety. And you can imagine students now have tremendous amount of speech anxiety. But nevertheless, so 3 of us came together, our former colleagues, Stan Moore, who has since retired, Vanita Parikh, and myself. And we sat down and we came up with an idea to come up with a speech lab. And we applied just from looking at data and determining some needs that we could provide for our students. You may end up coming up with something else as well. As you're operating at home in your silo, maybe you have wonderful technology ideas that when you come back into the classroom, you'd like to see that equipment in your classroom. Talk with your faculty chair, your associate dean, try to get that on your operational planning, and seek an application with us. At this time, I will entertain any questions that you might have. Okay.
Thank you, Doris. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we have the castle committees represented by their 4 co-chairs, Ruth Haler, Deb Zoff, Bob James, and Kathy Gangarosa. So are you guys ready?
Yep, thank you. Hi, everybody. Let me get my PowerPoint up here real quick. There we are. Let me do the thing where I can make it bigger so you can see it. Okay. Hi again. My name is Ruth Haller. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Castle ILO committee, along with Deb Zoff. We both co-chair the Castle ILO committee. And then for Castle programs this year, we have Bob James and Kathy Gangarosa as the co-chairs. Let's see here. Oh, first things first. So if you can remember this far back, in fall of 2019, HLC came to our campus when we were all on campus, happily doing our normal stuff. And we had a site visit from HLC. And assessment was one of the big things they were looking at. And then, you know, COVID happened. We kind of got the report back from HLC around the same time, but everything kind of went up crazily for a while. And we got the comments back, but I don't know if we ever actually reviewed some of what HLC said about assessment at Henry Ford College once we got the comments, just because there were so many other things we were all focusing on and doing. So the co-chairs, we've been working all summer, and one thing we were preparing for with this particular presentation was looking at some of HLC's comments on assessment, just 3 of them, so nothing crazy, and just giving you an idea of what our reviewers said when they came to campus. And overall, they were really pleased. So this first one says, Henry Ford College touts the quality of its educational programs by using clearly articulated outcomes and defined assessment processes of stated learning outcomes. The team found substantial evidence demonstrating the college's commitment to student success and the improvement of courses and programs with assessment. Right, so they're happy. Here's another happy one. The team believes that HFC has demonstrated an institutional commitment to improving student learning and educational achievement through its new assessment system. HFC has made progress in its institutionalization of the assessment processes, evidence documentation, and the use of multiple methods to assess programs and course outcomes. The institution has also made progress on improving the assessment processes for institutional learning outcomes. Again, they're happy with what we've been doing, and thanks to all of you who have been contributing to assessment and taking that up as you know, a serious endeavor in your own classes and your own programs, because we really made a lot of improvement from the 2015 site visit to the 2019. And then this last comment just gives some of their recommendations to keep improving. They said the team commends Henry Ford College for its improved assessment processes. The institution's processes and methodologies to assess student learning reflect good practice. The college should continue to focus on increasing the number of participating faculty, adjuncts, and other instructional staff members. So again, they were happy with a lot of the changes that we've made and our process for assessing and all of that. They just want to see more participation, more people doing it. That was really the only critique that was leveled at assessment at their visit. So we were really happy with that. And we for sure believe that we can get more people involved in assessment. So we're putting that out on the table right now, and we'll tell you a couple ways in which you can get involved. One way is if you were doing civil society and culture assessment last year, or if you're still working on it, you're not quite finished, that's okay. We're gonna be wrapping that initiative up this semester, okay? We're starting a new ILO that we're all going to be focusing on this year, which I'll talk about in a second, which Eric already alluded to during the CTEI presentation. But again, just wrapping up the civil society and culture ILO assessment. If you have reports out still, if you're assessing this semester, again, that's totally fine. But please submit your reports by December 17th at the very latest. And if you have specific questions about how you would do that, feel free to ask me or any of the other co-chairs, and we can help you out with that. And if you can submit sooner than that, aka as soon as possible, please do. That would be great. If you already have all your data, it's just a matter of sort of like compiling the report. Again, please submit as soon as you can. But again, the deadline is the end of this semester. So that's kind of wrapping up last year's Civil Society and Culture ILO assessment. Once we have all the data collected, then the Civil Society and Culture Subcommittee will be working on writing like a comprehensive annual report using everybody's data to get like a really full portrait of how our students are doing with this ILO at Henry Ford College. Okay, moving on to this year's Focus ILO. The Castle Committee chose last winter semester to do computer technology as our ILO for this year, probably for many obvious reasons, because we're using computers more now than probably ever before. So faculty from across the college are encouraged to participate in this endeavor. I want to give a shout out to Vicki Shepard, our computer technology ILO rep, who you'll be hearing from this year. Vicki, did you want to say hi? You don't have to, but.
Hello, I'm Vicki, if anybody doesn't know me yet.
Thank you, Vicki. Awesome. Yeah, so definitely be hearing from Vicki. And again, yeah, computer technology. You'll be getting emails from Castle, from Vicki about different workshops, events, forums, things we'll be hosting this year to get everybody familiar with this ILO and to give you ideas of how it can be assessed in your various programs and courses. One other little thing that the Castle co-chairs were working on over the summer was a new page on Moodle that will soon be available to all faculty on campus. Right now, I think only the program leads that we entered into the Moodle last year can see it, but we're still getting it ready and prepared for this semester with documents and other resources and materials that will be helpful both for like program assessment of program learning outcomes and for assessment of the institutional learning outcomes. So it's called Castle Corner, and it's again, if you're a program lead, you should be able to see it on your Moodle page, but soon it will be available to everybody, and we'll send out an email when it's available to everybody. And so as I say here, that's a comprehensive source for assessment related materials and resources for all of the assessment that you might need to be doing on campus. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna toss it over to Kathy. Kathy, do you want to take over?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Everybody can hear me? Okay, perfect. As Ruth said, my name is Kathy. I'm like the newest co-chair for Castle, and I just wanted to thank all of the Castle co-chairs for what they've done to help me develop into this new role. But what I'm going to be talking about right now is the upcoming workshop and events that we have. As you can see on the slide, we have on Thursday, September 9th from 3 to 5, there's going to be a new program lead meeting. And this is going to be really important to attend, even if you're even not so brand new, just because if you have any questions or any questions on assessment, I think this would be an opportune time to go. Also, one of the things to remember too, all of these workshops and these events are going to be held remote, and you will be getting some kind of invite from one of the Castle co-chairs. The all program lead meeting, which is going to be Thursday, September 23rd. It's just going to, for all of us just to get together and kind of talk about assessment on the program side. And then as Eric alluded in his presentation and Ruth already stated, the computer technology ILO workshop, the first workshop is going to be scheduled for October 22nd from 1 to 3. So this is going to be, I mean, like I said, the first workshop that we can all come together and ask questions on how we can address this assessment. Our first Castle meeting is going to actually be a joint meeting, and that's going to be on Thursday, September 6th from 3 to 5. Again, that's going to be remote. One of the other things, what you can do in the meantime too for the programs is if you haven't already put in your assessments on the assessment dashboard for your PLOs for your program, make sure that you're doing that as well. If you haven't documented your institutional learning outcome assessment from last year, the civil society and culture, make sure that that's being done. And if you've been assessing things in previous semesters, closing that loop is really important. And then one other thing is, just because of this pandemic and just because of these different times, I think it's really important that we are assessing how we are achieving and how we're achieving all of these outcomes. Okay, just a quick note to thank everybody who has served on the ILO committee. We have some new members, and we just want to thank some of the old members. I'm not going to read them all to you. If you just take a second and just read the screen. And then the same thing with our Castle program committee members. Again, a thanks to everybody who has served, and we welcome all the new folks. Does anybody have any questions?
Or other Castle co-chairs, if there's anything we forgot to mention, you can say it here too.
All right.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask Amy Helling to talk about assisting learning services. She has an update. Amy, are you there? Is Amy here? I saw her.
I'm here. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Anthony.
okay. All right.
I am not gonna show my face today, so hopefully everybody knows who I am. I'm in the middle of moving my daughter into her first apartment at Grand Valley, so it's pretty exciting for her today. But I did want to speak today to all faculty and welcome everybody back and do a slight introduction of the Assisted Learning Services Office. My name is Amy Helling, and I am a counselor within the counseling office at Henry Ford. I've been working within Henry Ford for almost 25 years this year, so I'm pretty excited to celebrate my big anniversary at the college. But let me explain to you a little bit about the Assisted Learning Services Office. For those of you that are new, the Assisted Learning Services Office is an office that assists students with accommodations that are classified as disabled students. These individuals can be physically, mentally, emotionally disabled, and they need to provide documentation to our office so that we can determine what the accommodations for them would be. The easiest way to refer a student to the Assisted Learning Services area is actually using the, oh shoot, we talked about it earlier. What is the referral system that we're using, Anthony? It's, Kat's gonna talk about it.
Early alert.
Yes, the early alert system is really a very useful tool, especially if you have any counseling concerns in any regard to any student within your classroom, because it immediately goes right to the counselor's email. And that would be true for assisted learning as well. If you would like to, you can have your students contact me directly. My email is ahelling@hfcc.edu. And again, I'll send some information to Eric that can be passed out to all faculty. It's a very simple process, and students do not need to sign up in the beginning of the semester. They can sign up anytime during the semester. Also, for those of you that are new faculty, you will receive notifications every semester about students that would need accommodations within your classroom. If you have any questions, concerns, if you don't understand something that is sent from our office, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. There are a number of individuals that work within our office that would be happy to assist you. And again, I'm just going to put a plug in for the whole counseling department. If at any time you need anything regarding any student concerns, both personally and academically, you can pass them on to counseling, refer them to counseling, and any of us can assist any of those students. Does anybody have questions regarding the Assisted Learning Services Office?
I don't, I have a comment, not a question.
Okay.
I just want to say, I always tell my students, because I have had actually only twice has this ever happened, where I had a student tell me they had assisted learning services, and they didn't state it that way. They just say, I have special needs, so I need more time on my exams.
Correct.
I always tell them, go to assisted learning. They will provide me with documentation. I'm saying this because until I have that documentation, I don't just take a student's word for it. So just something to think about. And ALS always sends me something. They did this morning.
That's a great point. If you did not receive a notification from our office, from my office, regarding a student's notification or the accommodations that they should receive within your classroom. It's always a good idea to contact our office, and Brenda Redinger is the accommodations coordinator. So she usually knows, she's usually on top of it, and all of you should have received your notifications for students with disabilities in your classrooms. But you might want to realize that if you have more than one individual that has the need for accommodations in your classroom, you may not see all the attachments. You might have to indicate download all so that you can see all of them. And if you need another copy of a notification, it's absolutely fine. We can do that. But we do have over 650 students registered right now with accommodations. So there may be somebody missed, or somebody, you know, there might be something that happens. You know, we're all people that make mistakes. So if a student has a question, please don't hesitate to send them my way. I work full time, so I'm there. We're going to be in the office this fall, Monday through Thursday. So somebody should be in the office that can assist you. We're still trying to figure out how we're doing testing accommodations. So when that does come out, I will make sure I send an email to all faculty.
Mary, you have your hand raised?
I'm good.
Okay.
She just addressed it. Thank you.
All right,
I appreciate
great.
that. I
Thank
can
you.
take it down. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, Anthony and all faculty, the students' quote unquote disability is kept confidential. However, if a student, if you do have any questions or concerns or want to talk to me about a particular student, my door is always open, and I'm willing to speak to anybody regarding any information I can assist them with to be more successful in your classes.
Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony.
So at this time, I'm going to allow Kevin to kind of share the screen and present as we're ending the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? And if you're a 1650 member, please stick around, because right after this, we're going into a 1650 union meeting, and that will be shortly after. So
I move.
a motion to adjourn?
I second. Corinne Asher seconds.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Tony.
Aye.
That was a
Thank
great
you.
meeting. Thank you.
Aye.
Great meeting.
Kevin, take over.
Aye. I was just going to show you guys. Can you hear me okay? I was just going to show you, if you go to YouTube and you type in HFC music, you'll see all the stuff we did last year. We have 26 videos that we made.
Wow.
And put up there. And since we're all out of time, I'll just play one quick one as you leave.
Thanks, Kevin.
There you go, folks. Go Hawks. Hawks are flying high.
Thank you, Kevin.
But there's plenty of videos if you want to check them out.
Thanks, Kevin.
John, I think you were in Forfa. If you're able to come and broadcast, you can use the Zoom session. If not, I don't know if Eric or someone else is there with you.
Tony? He's
Yes.
still here.
You there, Sam? They're trying to get set up in Forfa, so give them a second.
This is Mike.
Check 1 2.
We may want to, John, if we're going to talk about anything confidential to the union, you may want to make sure the room is clear of everybody except for 1650 members.
Get me on board. Just let me know when. Oh, there's Kevin. Oh my God.